In this video, we are going to be connecting Retell AI to n8n. This is going to be the most basic guide you can find. I'm going to make sure that you can make this connection clearly between Retell AI and n8n every time you go to build an AI voice agent. So I will walk you through step by step everything that I know and everything you're going to need to know when it comes to automating with n8n and really any AI voice agent platform moving forward. Here I've created an example business AI voice agent just for this video. So when we take a look inside, I have a prompt, a simple prompt configured. You can find this prompt inside of my free school group. Link will be in the description. And then in the top section over here in Retell, we have a function section. So this is where we can add tools. We need to attach a webhook that we created in n8n and input into a tool, into a function on Retell. So we're going to hit custom function down here inside of Retell. Now here is where we're going to paste our webhook. To get the webhook, we need to come into n8n and start a workflow. So once you get into n8n, I'm going to start a blank workflow. And the first thing I'm going to do is add a webhook. In any case where you create a custom function inside of Retell or really any AI voice platform, and you want to connect it to n8n, the first thing you're going to have to do is start with a webhook module. We have our actual webhook URL right here. We have a test one and we have a production one. I'll go into a little more detail of when to select each one a little bit later. For now, we're going to copy our test URL and simply bring it over to Retell and just paste it in to the API endpoint. Now we can save this function. After inputting the API endpoint, let's fill out the name and the description. So I'm gonna do an example. I'm gonna build an example workflow on n8n. It's going to be a checking availability inside of a calendar workflow. So we'll do check underscore availability, and we'll do underscore gcal for Google Calendar. And the description will be invoke this tool when the user wants to check available appointment times. Now we're going to save this custom function. After you have your custom function configured, we need to prompt the AI agent, pretty much tell it when to call that function. So since ours is a check availability gcal function, we're going to prompt the agent and we're going to say, after collecting the caller's information and preferred date and time, invoke tool name to check availability. So now that we have this actual tool name, we can just simply paste it into the prompt like so. So now with that webhook from n8n pasted in here, all of that information is going to be sent to n8n for us to use however we please. Now, whether you're logging details inside of a Google Sheet or you're updating customer data inside of a CRM, you just want to prompt the agent, tell it what information to collect. Once it has that information, you want to tell it to invoke a certain tool, which is the tool that you create, the function that you create. And then inside of the function, you need to add the address of where the information is going. To better define what information we're actually sending to n8n to that address, we do want to set up parameters. So we can do a JSON schema or we can do a form. Form is much simpler, so that's what we're going to be doing. Under the form section, we have parameter name and detail. So parameter name is just the field and detail is the description, what that field is. So in this case, we are checking availability inside of a Google Calendar. So we need to figure out what parameters, what information we actually need to do that. To do that, we're going to come over to n8n. Now, since we're doing check availability inside of a Google Calendar, that's the module we're going to add. To actually fill out these parameters, we first want to know what information n8n needs in order to carry out our workflow. So to do that, we're going to go into n8n and we're going to continue setting up this n8n workflow. We're going to hit the plus sign and we're going to look for that Google Calendar check availability module, which is right here, get availability in the calendar. We're going to click that and it's going to automatically open for us and it's going to show us everything that we need. We just need to log into our calendar, select our calendar right here, and then for this section that we're getting from Retell where we're entering variables, we need to put in the start time and the end time. So those are the fields that we need to place inside the parameters on Retell. So I'm gonna come inside Retell, and for the first field, I'm going to do start time. And for the description, I'm just gonna do start of appointment. And the second field is going to be you guessed it, end time and end of appointment. We're going to leave the type as string, and we're going to turn payload args only to be a little bit more organized, and I'm going to hit update. Now, since we're prompting our AI agent to get the date and time from the caller, Retell is going to automatically put that date and time into the start time and the end time parameters. So that's the Retell AI portion finished. We need to go back into n8n and we need to finish this workflow. To finish this n8n workflow and actually fill in the fields that we need to with the proper information, n8n needs some input data. As we can see on the left-hand side, there's no input data yet. This is where a lot of people go wrong. You need to do a test call to your webhook. You need to sort of warm it up. So to warm it up, we're going to go back to Canvas and we're going to hit execute workflow. Now n8n is waiting for information. As we can see, it says waiting for you to call the test URL, and we have a constant load going on. So it's saying feed me basically. We're going to come into Retell and we're going to feed it by doing a free test on the test chat section. So we'll just do a manual chat. It's going to take me through the flow that we have configured here. It's going to ask my name, my number, my preferred dentist, my date and time, and then it's going to try to check availability. It's going to follow the appointment booking flow because I asked to book an appointment. Okay, perfect. So as we can see, the AI agent went through the flow of asking, my purpose, my name. It collected all of my information, and then it invoked the tool. So if we come over to n8n, we can see that the loading has stopped, and we now have check marks, meaning that information was received. Now we can finish the get availability in a calendar module because we have all of this input data. And because we put payload args on only, we have a body section that has the parameters kind of sectioned off from everything else. So what we're going to do is we're going to delete the old start time and input the new one. And we're going to do the same for the end time. Now this module is properly configured, and we can actually get availability inside of the Google Calendar that we're signed in with the start time and the end time that Retell will be sending over for each requested appointment. When we go back to the canvas, we can see we have yellow now, which means that we changed things inside of our module. If we come over to the webhook, we can see all of the information that our webhook is receiving. It has all this information for the headers. It has the body, which is the parameters. It has the webhook URL and the execution mode. Now let's talk about how to actually. Now, when it comes to actually pushing this n8n workflow live so that it's active 24/7, there's two things you want to do. The first thing is going to be turning the inactive toggle to active. Now, this is pretty much telling us our workflow is activated. We can now use our production webhook URL. We're going to say got it. Pushing it to active does one of two things. It activates the production URL like n8n just stated, and it also puts us in a situation where we don't need to hit the execute workflow button anymore because now this workflow is active. It will run 24/7 whenever it's called. The execute button is only for when your workflow is set to inactive. Now that our workflow is active, we want to switch over to production URL by clicking it and copying the new production URL and replacing it with the old test URL. We're going to come back into our Retell function. We're going to simply replace the old with the new, and we're going to hit update. Now, anytime this Retell AI agent calls this custom function, it's going to send the details that we've configured over to this workflow. We can do whatever we like with the information. We can add more modules, input those fields into the modules. If we want to collect more information from the user and send that over to n8n, all we need to do is come over to the parameters, add another field, summary, and then put whatever description you want. So our summary will be preferred doctor. And then inside of the prompt, just make sure that you're collecting the preferred doctor. Retell AI will collect the preferred specialist and push it along to the function, which will then push it along to n8n using the n8n API endpoint address. Once that information is received inside of n8n, you can do with it as you please. I'm going to be leaving this exact Retell AI agent build inside of my school group, available for download, where you can just take it and upload it into your own Retell AI account. I will also leave the n8n workflow there. My school group is free. Everything that I build in all of my YouTube videos is available for download for free. If you have any specific questions, you're running into any kind of kinks or unique issues, you can book a time slot with me. It is a paid session where me and you go over for 30 minutes. Any issues that you're having, you can screen share, show me what's going on, or we can simply just go over advice for actually starting with building and selling AI voice agents. Other than that, if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. I hope if you were experiencing any issues, this video cleared up any problems you were having. If you're new to experimenting with the AI voice agent industry, it is the best place to be in when it comes to getting started with AI and making a little money while doing so. I definitely recommend getting involved now while it's hot. Lastly, I want to thank you guys for watching, and good luck with whatever else you're doing in the business world.